So back in the day, Minecraft spin-off game Minecraft Earth introduced the Bone Spider, an exclusive variant of the regular spider where it spits out bone shards as a range attack. And I want to recreate the Bone Spider into the main Minecraft. But before I actually do that, I understand that some of you kids out there may be a bit scared of spiders. Don't worry, this is nothing to be ashamed of. We all have something that we're scared of, like ghosts, possessed dolls, scary clowns, women, getting a job. But in order to ease you guys in, let me just show you a picture of a real life spider. No, don't cover your eyes. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to help you get through your fear of spiders. See, look how harmless this thing is. Now let me show you another one. See, there's nothing to be scared of. A picture on the screen won't hurt you. You're completely fine. Alright, are we all good now? You're no longer scared of spiders? Okay, good. Okay, so the first thing that we gotta do is boom! Alright, all jokes aside, first things first, we need the model and texture for the bone spider. Now, this is pretty easy since all I really need is to get the texture from a wiki and then just reuse the entire model and code for the regular spider. And now let me just make sure it appears correctly in the game. Okay, so the texture does render properly, but the thing is, its eyes currently have a pinkish color tone when it's supposed to have a more purple color tone. I think this is mostly because since I am reusing the original spider code and I barely change anything, it's still using the original spider eyes texture, so when we make it invisible, it should display the red eye texture, so I might need to change it to make it more purple. Okay, so I'm currently changing the texture for the bone spider eyes. It's very easy, and while I'm at it, what does it look like if I just copy and paste the entire texture for the bone spider? What would it look like? Oh right, oh my god. It looks like it's being flashbang. Actually, what does it look like when I set it to nighttime? Oh, this is cool though. It's like the whole glow squid thing. It's like, oh my god, look at it. It's like when the whole world is in darkness, you can still see his aura. Okay, so what does it look like when it's invisible? Let me just, whoa. Ooh, it's like a cool effect though. Even when invisible, the world can still see his aura. Alright, I had my laugh. Time to go change it properly now. So now, it should have the purple eyes. So there it is in the dark. Let me see when it's invisible. Where is it? Yeah, it works. Now let me test it when it's daytime. And then let me just try to spawn one in. And yeah, I think it is rendering properly now. The next thing I need to do is to add its range attack. And in order to do this, I'm gonna have to give it a custom entity goal. So basically what an entity goal is, it basically defines what the mob should do and how to do it and in what condition to do it. Like walking around, looking around, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the bone spider now should have the range attack. And when it attacks me, oh yeah, it's because it's daytime and the spider only attacks at nighttime. Oh yeah. Hang on guys, hang on. And now when it's nighttime, boom, it now shoots some snowballs directly at the player. Okay, now let me just test this with an iron golem. Okay, let me just spawn in a few more. F3B. The prototype goal is kind of working right now. Let me just test it here. One thing that I do notice is that even though when they're firing projectiles, they still keep on moving. That's not what I want. So that's issue number one. The second thing, okay, let me just get in the fence here. So for issue 2, okay, so if you see this blue line here, it kind of means that it's the eye direction that it's facing. So basically it's eye direction. Yeah, you can kind of see from like the model. This is how it looks. The blue line kind of represents the direction that it's looking at. And as you can see, let me just walk out a bit. So you can kind of see that from the blue line, it's supposed to represent where it's looking at, but then you look at the projectile, it's a bit offset to shoot downwards a bit, and like even when the spider is looking away, it's a bit off. So I need to find a way to make it so that when the projectile is being fired, it's basically somewhat almost aligned to the blue line that it's looking at. Now, issue number 3, if we look at the spider from a top-down angle, you can kind of see for a split second that the projectile spawns directly in the center of the spider. I don't want it to do that. I want the projectile to spawn from the spider's head, like the little jaws here, like right here. Like, you see this? Yeah, right there. That's where I want them to spawn. Actually, wait, can I record this? Wait, let me try to record this on my phone. So right now, this is where the projectile spawns from the spider directly in the center of his body. I don't want it to do that. So right now, let's focus on like the spider's head here. This is where I want the projectile to spawn. So essentially, I need to find some way for the projectile to spawn right at this spot here. Right here, right in this spot here. So like right here, like whenever the head is moving, it's like go here. So like right here, this is where it should like, yeah, you can kind of see where I want it to spawn. So I kind of want the projectile to spawn directly dependent on where the head is located. So every time it moves to a different direction, like that is where the projectile should spawn. So for the first issue, I kind of found a way to make the spider not look or move away when it's firing the projectile. So if we were to paste this code here, it basically overrides all the looking and moving around goals to just not do anything. And the next thing I need to do is to modify the projectile firing trajectory to be dependent on the angle and direction the spider is looking at. So now when we go back into the game and when we spawn a bunch of bone spiders over here, they should be able to start looking around and moving around freely on their own. Yeah, there we go. But when it suddenly detects that it has a target nearby, it should lock onto it. It should also like stop moving and like looking away from it. So let me just try to distract it. So let me just nip. So yeah, it's still locked onto the iron golem here. And then when we go F3B, you can kind of see that the projectile is spawning from the head and it's aligned with the blue eye line. The projectile is still spawning a bit off from the mouth, but still this is I think we're still making good progress with this. And yeah, it's working pretty well. Now, when I looked at the wiki, I noticed that the bone spider does have its own range attack animation, but to be honest, I don't want to animate that because I'm a bit lazy right now. But if you look at the animation, it does show a sort of recoil effect, and I think I can program that into the spider. So now, when we go back into the game, you can see that when it fires the projectile, it has the recoil effect. And the thing about the recoil effect is that I made it directly dependent on where it looks. So when we go into survival for a bit, so right now this bone spider is shooting at us, and every time that it fires the snowball, it has a recoil effect that sends it backwards. Now here's the thing about the recoil effect. So when we try to move this way into this position, now it recoils more towards the fence post. But when we try to recoil this way, in this position, it recoils backwards. So with this, we can kind of control where the bone spider can recoil. So if we're in this position, we can try to recoil it more towards to that patch of dirt. And come on. Yeah. And when we try to be in this position, it recoils away from the dirt patch. And yeah, that is how the bone spider's recoil effect works. So yeah, depending on where the head is facing, it will recoil in the opposite direction of where it's facing. I really hope that what I'm saying is making sense. I am dodging this pretty well, actually. I could make a mini game with this, honestly. Now, something that I want to point out is that according to the wiki, even though that the bone spider has a range attack, it actually also has a melee attack. And as far as I can gather, there is no mention of a condition of which attack the bone spider would choose. Like, will it just randomly switch regardless of the target's proximity, or will it switch to the melee attack when the target gets close enough? So I need to choose between the randomized attack style, the first one, or the second proximity attack style. Now, if we were to think about this somewhat logically, in an audience perspective, if we were to make the bone spider switch attacks on its own, basically choosing for the randomized attack style, chances are it will do a range attack once and then just melee its target afterwards forever, because chances are it will just melee it continuously because, you know, primal instincts. Plus, even if it switches to, let's say, range melee, range melee, range melee intervally, by the time it switches to the first melee attack, I feel like it will be very hard to show its range attack afterwards, because at that point the bone spider is already too close to its target to even see the projectile being shot from the spider. So it'll kind of look like it's in a melee attack even though it's currently doing the range attack. Oh, and don't even get me started on making some sort of moving away from the enemy algorithm when it switches to the range attack. I said, give me my attack style! And I said there is no way you could have moved away from the target after switching to range mode without cheating it! I told you, I used a complex algorithm based on the dimensions of the world! Yesterday you thought that golems were flies! Today you're using algorithms? Yesterday I wasn't a genius! Now give me my attack style, monkey boy! So I guess we're gonna have to choose for the proximity attack style. So right now it's in its range attack. As you can see, it's firing the bone sharp projectiles. But once we get close to it, as you can see in the bottom right caption, you can see that the bone spider is emitting the bone spider attack sound, meaning that right now it is attacking me with its melee attack. Actually, let me test this with the new frenzy effect that I added. So right now in the chat, you can see there is a message that says damage source thrown amount. That means we're getting attacked by a range attack. But when we get close to it to trigger its melee attack mode, you can see that in the chat, we are getting the damage source mob, meaning that we are getting attacked with its melee attack. So let me just demonstrate it again. So right now it's in its range attack mode, but when we get close to it, it switches to the melee attack. Oh, and another thing that I also did is that for the bone sharp projectile that is firing, I made it so that their attack damage is dependent on the game's difficulty. So what I mean by that is that when we go to difficulty easy, so the bone sharp projectile should deal us 2 damage points as indicated in the chat message. So right now we're in difficulty easy, so we're only dealing with 2 damage right now from the bone sharp. But when we go to difficulty normal, we should be inflicted, oh no. So when we're in the normal difficulty, the bone sharp projectile should deal us 4 points of damage, as indicated in the chat. But when we go to difficulty hard, it should deal us 6 amount of damage. Oh, and something that you may have noticed is that occasionally when the bone sharp projectile hits something, occasionally a bone sharp item will pop out. So let me just try to demonstrate it. It does take a moment. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so occasionally when the bone sharp projectile hits anything, it will pop out a bone shard item. Actually, let me test this in creative. So basically, when you shoot out a bone shard projectile, there is a small chance, yeah, there we go. There is a small chance that it will pop out a bone shard item. Now, the reason why I did this is because, well, in the original Minecraft Earth game, there is no practical use for the bone shard item. It only works as a projectile for the bone spider. And I want to see if I can make a use for the bone shard in the main Minecraft game. And I may have found a pretty cool use for it. Now, originally, when I made the bone shard item, I thought about it as a sort of alternative for flint when making arrows. But what I made now is that instead of treating it as a sort of alternative, I made it so that when you craft an arrow with the bone shard, you can get 4 bone shard arrows. Now, some of you might be asking, what exactly does the bone arrow do? Well, obviously it does work like a normal arrow, but the special thing is that when you try to shoot it against a glass block, it breaks. And another thing is that the bone arrow only works if you shoot it at a certain velocity. So right now it's at a maximum velocity, so when we shoot it, it breaks the glass. But when we try to shoot it with a lower velocity like this, it doesn't break the glass unless we shoot it with a higher velocity. So let me just show you again. We're trying to break the glass, and even in like a medium velocity, it is not breaking. But when you charge it to the maximum velocity, only then will the glass block break. And it works for all vanilla glass, like normal glass, stained glass, glass paints, tinted glass, or with the new special tempered glass that I made, it won't break the glass. So let me show you again. We're gonna break this glass, we're gonna break this glass, this glass, this, can't break this. And yeah, it's I guess it's pretty cool. Now remember, we can't break it with a lower velocity, we gotta hit it with a higher velocity. Now we're almost done with the bone spider mod, but there is still one last feature that I want to implement. This is a parrot, the second biggest bird in Minecraft. And these little guys have a little known feature where if they detect a nearby hostile mob, let me just spawn a few more. As I was saying, when these guys detect a hostile mob nearby, they will start emitting the sound imitations of that particular hostile mob. However, they cannot do it for the bone spider because the parrot is currently only programmed to imitate for the vanilla hostile mobs, which the bone spider is not a vanilla hostile mob. Okay then, why not just program it in already then? Well, you see, in situations like these, we cannot edit the original game files. We can read and copy stuff from the files, but we cannot change them directly. So in dire times like these, we're gonna have to use something called a mixing class. So in simple terms, it's basically a sort of add-on extension program to help change or even add new things into these files without actually changing the original game files directly. And now, the parrots are imitating the bone spider. Now, I also programmed the bone spider to spawn in the dark oak forest biome. It is gonna be a bit hard to track them down, so I got this command to help me find them. So let's see. There we go. So yeah. So now they are spawning in the dark oak forest biome. Actually, let me set it to midnight. And then let's just go deeper into the forest. Okay, so this should be a better spot. So when we paste in the command again, okay, so we're hitting for targets. There we go. So yeah, so now you can see that the bone spider are actually spawning in the dark oak forest biome. And now let me test that loop drop. So they should drop either a bone, a string, or a bone meal. This one dropped a bone meal. We got 2 of them. So let's go to this bone spider over here. So when we kill it, it drops a bone. Now let me try to locate more. So let me try to kill this one. Let me just loop. It drops a string. And then this one should, come on, drop a bone and a string. Let me see if we can find any more. Oh wow, holy crap. This is a absurdly tall mansion. Oh hey, would you look at that? Some of the bone spiders are spawning on top of the mansion. So when we kill this one, it doesn't drop anything. When we kill this one, it doesn't drop anything. What about this one? Ooh, this one has like, I think this one has like regeneration. So this one drops a string. And now let me just make sure that the bone spider sound effect works with the attack modes. So it's emitting the spitting sound, that works. And when it tries to bite me, it emits the attack sound rather than the spitting sound. So yeah, they're both working perfectly. So yeah, I say that the bone spider mod is pretty much complete. Go my spider leg! But yeah, that is about it for the bone spider. And as always, you can comment your suggestions on the mod and all future mods. And who knows, we might even make an arrow mod with the new bone arrow. Oh, and if you made it this far and enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It really does help support me and the channel. But anyways, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Can't wait for the new Spider-Man movie.